Hello, my name is Eric Wiechart, and I've been a parishioner at St. Charles for over 26 years. Wow, that sounds like a long time. Well, my wife Kathy and I moved back to Lima after spending about 10 years living elsewhere, Michigan, North Carolina, and lastly, Virginia. When we moved back, we joined St. Charles, and all our three daughters have gone through St. Charles School, and except for baptism, have had every sacrament at St. Charles. So St. Charles is home for a lot of things. Well, Father asked me to speak today about my relationship with St. Charles Parish. So after I asked him if he had the right number, I asked myself, how do you answer that question? It's not a question I considered as I was rushing all those years to get the kids in the car so we wouldn't be late, or my new tradition of making a cup of coffee for Kathy for the ride into church. So really, what is my relationship? Being a small business owner, I thought as with our work team, when we consider our mission, that gives us our why we're here. So really, I started thinking of really, why am I here at St. Charles? So I went to the parish mission statement, which is to build a community of faith, united with Christ in the Eucharist, living as disciples, sharing God's love and grace. There's no mention of the building, mass times, no mention of the address of the school. There's really not even a mention of coffee and donuts. So let me repeat that mission statement. To build a community of faith, united with Christ in the Eucharist, living as disciples, sharing God's love and grace. I picked out 5 words when I read that: build, community, Eucharist, living, and sharing. I thought as I considered each word, how would that impact my relationship with St. Charles? So the first word is build, not building. I looked for some type of quote that would help me get the difference between build and building. So Andrew Root says, the church may have a building, but that's not its place. The building may be the church's location, but its space is in the shared humanity of its person. Its space is in the shared humanity of its persons. So maybe for me, St. Charles is not about the buildings. Maybe it's about building something. The next word is community, so it's not just about me. So St. Charles does offer support and sacraments, but for me, more importantly, maybe offers a challenge to make all of us better. And again, I look for some quote to give me that sense of community and purpose. And R. Silva says, my job as a Christian is not to get people to heaven when they die. It's to get heaven to people while they're alive. So is St. Charles just a comfortable place for me to sit in a pew or watch the live stream? I say maybe for some, but for me, St. Charles is a place where we are challenged, as Mr. Silva said, to bring heaven to us. St. Charles does offer challenging programs, faith building, community service, a sense of faith in action, bringing heaven to each of us. Next word was Eucharist. For me as a Catholic, my faith begins and is fulfilled through and with the Eucharist. Some Sundays, coffee and donuts are a pretty good draw. And remember the good old days when we could actually have coffee and donuts? They'll be back. They'll definitely be back. But donuts don't last except on my waistline. And the Eucharist for me ever energizes my quest for God in my life. Next word was living, which to me means not just existing. And I think for purposes of this mission statement, I think this primarily means demonstrating, putting into action our beliefs and shared desire for delivering God's kingdom here on earth. St. Charles is the sacraments for our community, for the milestones in our lives, our children's lives, our families' lives, even at the end of our lives. Just 1.5 years ago, my family celebrated the funeral mass of my mother right at St. Charles. The death of a loved one is painful, but to share her life and her faith right here at St. Charles with our family, friends, our community, well, in fact, I think that is living. Next word was sharing, not keeping it to myself. Recently, Deacon Fred baptized George, my grandson, while my other three grandsons, who have all been baptized within the last 3 years, ran all over the church. To me, again, this is the people, our family, the godparents, all of us part of a community, witnessing the addition to our numbers. Those of you who are grandparents know the feeling of seeing a baby, your grandchild, entering our faith, our community. It's emotional for me to describe the feeling. We all know God accepts us all with whatever we bring, but our community also accepts us all, challenges us all, supports us all as we share in our faith. So let me repeat that parish mission one more time. To build a community of faith, united with Christ in the Eucharist, living as disciples, sharing God's love and grace. How does it feel for you when I say that out loud? If you or I don't like the answer, the only way to change your answer, if it's not the answer you want, is you or I. This community loves and supports me and you, your family and mine, at all points in our lives. But living as disciples requires something of us, each of us. Sharing God's love and grace requires action. I pray that myself, my family, and all of us live and live up to our parish mission every day. Thank you for your time.